Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us today on ClueCon Weekly. So we are going to start with another Nailed It or Failed It segment all about 3D printing. And then Diego Gosmar from XCALLY is going to join us and talk all about delivering the agent desktop experience, SIP-based application clients versus WebRTC. And then he's going to show us a few demos about these different scenarios. So we are very much looking forward to that. But first, I have a few announcements. So right now, we are having a spring flash sale. So if you missed the early bird pricing, do not worry. Right now, you can save $500 on ClueCon registration if you go to our website and register right now. And when you register, make sure to use the code SPRINGINTOACTION, all caps, no spaces, spring into action. And you have until the end of the month to do so, which is just a few days. So don't forget to do that. And then when you are planning for ClueCon, do not forget to mark your calendars for April 5th, the first Monday of ClueCon, because we have our annual hackathon, The Coder Games, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We have different challenges for all different skill sets, and this year, everyone who participates in the Coder Games is going to get their own copy of our very special card game, Cards Against Technology. And it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity, but more appropriate and all tech themed. So it's a super fun game. It's a good way to get to know people, and it's pretty popular so far, so don't miss out on that for your exclusive swag. And then more ClueCon news. If you go to ClueCon.com right now, you can catch the first round of speaker announcements. So we're still looking at some of those applications you guys sent in, but so far we have a couple people that we already know for sure are going to be speaking at ClueCon. So if you're interested in seeing who you'll be watching talk at the conference, go check that out. David Duffett's going to be speaking, Fred Posner, Chad Hart, and a bunch more. So go check it out. And last announcement, there are still plenty of FreeSwitch and OpenSIP's training slots for ClueCon. That is August 9th, the Friday of the week of ClueCon. So if you're interested in that, you can go to ClueCon.com, and there's a menu option that says training for more information on that. So before we introduce Diego to you all, we're going to go check out our blog spot for this week. Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us today on ClueCon Weekly. So today we have another very exciting episode of Nailed It or Failed It. So last time we played this game, we were talking about wearable technology, about smartwatches, but today we are going to talk about 3D printers. So I personally think that in most cases, 3D printers are a fail.
I disagree. I think they are nail and are still nailing it.
Okay, so I remember about like 10 years ago when 3D printers first came out as like a product that you could actually buy. Everybody, and not just like the advertisements, like everybody was saying, this is going to change our lives. Finally, this is available to us. We'll never have to go to the store again. We can 3D print anything our hearts desire. And it's been 10 years and that just hasn't held up. A lot of the average consumers' households don't have a 3D printer in them because they're expensive, they're difficult to use, and most importantly, what are they going to do with it? Like, I'm trying to think of like practical things that you could 3D print.
I have some things.
Like a ruler or a cup. You do?
I do. So I know a lot of people, well, I don't know them personally, but I know people who are like entrepreneurs or hobbyists. Some people make their own makeup. Some people make their own figurines. Like our friend Connor, he made his own character figurine when he and some friends were playing D&D.
Yeah, so maybe, or if you have an Etsy shop and maybe you want to do art. But the way it was presented to us, like if you're a regular person, like you only can do plastic. Unless you get like a wooden one, then you can do wood, but you can only do wood. Or you could do like makeup, but then you have 3D printers, and a lot of them are like kind of rough, so you have to spend time like sanding it.
That's true.
And they get clogged, and it's like, it would just be cheaper and easier to just Amazon Prime the stuff you need. Because if you're not a hobbyist and you're not an entrepreneur, or maybe like, I'm sure a lot of people watching are, I would say a hobbyist, but like a tech hobbyist. Like they like to mess around with like the programming and the 3D sculpting. But if you're not one of those three categories it's kind of useless.
Yeah, so for the average consumer, maybe it's not the best idea, but for people who are like doing their own businesses, it's definitely a great way to put your mark on something that you created with the technology. And I think that's awesome.
And if any of you watch Shark Tank, there was just an episode where they had 3D printers, but for kids. Which was kind of cool at first. Oh yeah, so it's like you can draw it's like you can like put different clothes on the doll and kind of draw like square shapes and it'll print it. But it takes like 6 hours. And even I don't have that long of an attention span. And I feel like it would get a little old after a while. Like you print 2 little figures and it's like fun and then it's like, okay. I feel like it's like kind of a novelty in general.
Okay, sure.
But that's just for the consumer. But
Sure.
So why else do you think it's a nail?
Well, I think it's a nail because like we were talking about it, you can get products out there. So it's really quick and easy to create your prototypes using a 3D printer.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and get to market quickly and grow your business. And it's also not only on that hand, but on the other hand, it's also really beneficial to industrial builders, such as people who manufacture airplane parts or even like the car you were talking about.
Yes, fun fact everybody. So there is one 3D printed car on the market. It's completely 3D printed. So cool. But you can only go 43 miles per hour.
You don't need to go any faster than that.
Maybe someday you'll be able to, for those of us who don't like to stop and smell the roses and are trying to get to where we're going.
It's overrated. Overrated. Okay, well here's another reason. Here's another reason why I think it's totally awesome and we're totally nailing it with these is I just read this in the news. A group of researchers at Tel Aviv University in Israel just printed the world's first human heart on a small scale that has ventricles, red blood cells, heart chambers. Now it is on a small scale,
right?
But
that's never been done before, has it?
I don't think so. And think of how many people that's going to help, in the future when the FDA
like in America now, the FDA doesn't allow the use of 3D printed transplants, but I'm sure someday once we get on a bigger scale, they will, and I bet that'll help a lot of people.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Nailed it.
I'll give you that one. I'll say overall summary for the consumer, the average consumer. Failed it, but
for the future, looking forward, for the industrial builders, for the team of researchers who are creating body parts, I say they nailed it.
All right, but we want to know what you have to say, so let us know in the comments. Share this video, give it a like, and also tell us what you'd like us to talk about next. Something controversial. All right. See you next time.
So thank you so much, Abby, for the news and the announcements. And we hope you enjoyed our nice little nailed it or failed it blog spot. Let us know what you think. Do you think 3D printers are nailing it or failing it? Let us know on our social medias. So today we have Diego Gosmar with us. So, hey, how are you doing, Diego?
I'm good. Pretty excited to be here with you today.
Great. We're so excited to have you. So can you tell our audience a little bit about what you're going to be discussing today?
So I will try to discuss about some benefits, actually some trade-off about using WebRTC technology or more classical SIP standard technology, in particular for customer care agent application. So we will be discussing about contact center applications and a couple of alternatives for call center agents we've been working on. And then I will try to play a few demos, a few dangerous demos,
Dangerous demos, absolutely.
Showing you something about that.
Okay, great. Well, let's jump right into your presentation.
We can start here. Perfect. So here we are. I'd like to spend just a few seconds about talking about who we are, what we do. So our company is based in Europe, but we work worldwide now. And we have experience since more or less 2004, 2003 about open source technology in IP telephony. So we work mainly with open source software technology, like being there, FreeSwitch, Asterisk, Camaillio, and all the other engines I think you know about. And starting in 2010, more or less, we focus pretty much on customer care application. And the solution is called XCALLY, and this is what we are doing now. Okay, so we have partners worldwide, and we work mainly about that, mainly through resellers and partners who are going to set up our solution around the world. So the topic of today is about, in my opinion, what we saw, what we experienced in the contact center agent experience application. When we are talking about call center agents, in our experience at least, we need to focus about few features, few benefits that they will need. In particular, for example, they expect to be able to use not just a simple SIP telephone, not just a SIP client like many that you see in the market, being able, to make incoming, inbound, manage inbound, outbound calls, but something more. First of all, the application must be simple. So normally call center agents needs to address the customer support or sales by using a simple interface on one side. On the other side, of course, they need also to have powerful features like call recordings, skill pop-ups to get more information about who is calling them, why, and so at the end of the day to provide what is called a proactive support to the customer. I want as an agent, I want to be able to know as much as possible about the customer. Why, in the meanwhile, I am on a live call with them. I want to be able to move my status from a ready status to maybe a break status, and you will see about that later. Other things that are really important for a contact center agents normally is integration with external application, being that CRM applications, ticketing applications, or some other applications. So I normally want to be able to get, for example, information about the customers already available in my CRM as soon as I get a phone call. Of course, we need to have high communication quality. It's important to provide best quality, and I put here also hot desk, easy shift. So normally the application can be used during different time in the day by different kind of agents with different skills. And there's more coming up. Since few years, we've been able also to see a lot of needs in terms of not just voice. Now we are talking about more. Call center agents, they need to manage either voice or chat messaging, video. They need to manage now social media interactions with customers. So the environment is becoming more and more omni-channel. And so they need some omni-channel oriented applications with some optimization in terms of that. How to achieve that? Here you are a few recipe I ran through. First of all, on the left side, you see what we normally use is an IP telephony, an open source IP telephony. It can be FreeSwitch, can be Asterisk, Camarillo, or actually can be whatever you want. And then some optimized agent desktop interface on the call center operator, on the call center computers. I want to show you two different approaches today. The solution number one is SIP-based, a SIP protocol-based, what we call the phone bar CTI. It's an application used by normally an agent to interact with customers, and we are using normally we are using here PJ SIP stack to do that inside our phone bar. And the second solution will be WebRTC, okay? So let me just switch from the presentation now to the first piece of demo. I want just to, okay, I want to do this. So you see here on top of the screen, you should be able to see the CTI phone bar application, okay? It's very simple. As I told you previously, agents can move onto several kind of break status. Now I'm ready. And he can manage, of course, simple voice call, like, for example, okay, this one, you see a call is incoming, and I get a pop-up here with some value-added information for the agents. So I know, for example, this customer is going to speak with me in French. I know he's calling for a sales purpose, and so on and so forth, okay? Of course, I can pick up the call, I can manage call, and then all the other stuff, okay? And normally this kind of application, as I told you, can be omni-channel. And so I need here to close this, and I want to open this application now. What we have done here is to build an omni-channel desktop interface. I'm going to show you later, okay? So this is the first approach, solution number one. And there are, of course, some benefits, some advantages and disadvantages I try to put here in the slide. The main advantages are that this kind of application is an application, of course, so it's independent from the use of the browser. You don't need any browser to manage this kind of application. And I know it can be a disadvantages, but it's also an advantages, because you are free to use the application you saw on top of the screen, and simultaneously you can use other applications very easily. Underneath, you can use another web application, or you can open a spreadsheet file. You can do whatever you want. The second benefit is you are totally independent from browser automatic update. So I don't have to be worried about, oh my God, my Firefox or my Google Chrome is out updating. What will happen to my application? So I don't have to worry about that. In terms of disadvantages, it's more difficult to be multi-platform. So what you have seen here, it's yeah, this is a Windows application. So the telephone bar showed here, it's is designed for Windows. If you want to port it on a Linux machine, or maybe on a Macintosh, of course, you need to work a little bit in terms of porting. It's not that easy as WebRTC. And the other disadvantage is that it requires, of course, an application to be installed on your desktop computer. So agents will need to manage an application. Solution number one, let's now move to the WebRTC-based agent application. This is an example of what we have. It's totally web-based. We use it mainly with Google Chrome, but it can be working also with Firefox, Safari now, Microsoft Edge, many other kind of browsers supporting WebRTC, you know. I want to show you this in my browser now. Sorry, I need to move. Okay, this is the WebRTC application. You see on top of the screen, let me simulate an incoming call now. And you see the call incoming. I get a pop-up here as well. Everything is on the browser. I can just pick up the call here, manage my call, and so on and so forth. And just like before, I want to be able to move from ready status to a break status. Now I'm not ready to take the call. Let's be ready again, okay? So everything inside the browser. And benefits about this application is, first of all, it's natively multi-platform. It means that you just need a web browser to have it up and running. Of course, it must support WebRTC, but you can run it pretty easily on Linux machine, on Windows desktop, or Macintosh. It doesn't matter about that. And second benefit is that you don't have to bother about installing an application inside every desktop inside. If you have a call center with 1,000 seats, of course, it will be tough to manage all those kind of application if you don't have a nice delivery or application, massive application delivery solution. It's not all that easy as it turned to be. There are also some disadvantages, in my opinion, by using this kind of solution to be taken in account. The first one, in our experience with customer, is that everything is inside the browser, all the voice application. It means that it's more difficult to manage also other not browser application at the same time. So for example, I'm on a live call with a customer, I using my WebRTC application, and I need to move if I want to open I don't know, a text editor or anything else. I need to move on a different windows. It's not that easy to be done. Second point is that some browser like Google Chrome, Firefox, and others, usually they propose you automatic update. Of course, you can try to control that, but it's not that easy. So what's going on if my Google browser on 1,000 seats automatically updates, and then my WebRTC doesn't work anymore because I have not tested that on the very latest version of Google Chrome? That could be a problem. And third, it's not an issue, but of course you need to take it into account, is that you need a valid HTTPS certificate to have WebRTC up and running. Other things I want to consider normally in our experience, looking at the two different technologies. Those are just few notes I put here, and we can run through them. First of all is that if you plan to build your call center application for agents by using SIP stack, there you have a lot of possibilities, a lot of libraries and SIP stack available. We've been using PJ-SIP, but there are many others available. If you use WebRTC, you can choose among different signaling protocol. You can use either SIP to do that, but you can use some others. The standard doesn't tell you you need to use that specific protocol, so you're free to choose. Another thing you need to take into account in both when you work with SIP and WebRTC, it's about voice codecs. If you use FreeSwitch or Asterisk, you can use, for example, not just the standard Allo G711, but you can go even maybe on the new Opus codec, pretty much useful if you are running your call center agents in remote sites where bandwidth might be not so stable. Then an adaptive codec like Opus could be nice. Security is something you need to keep in mind. So use secure RTP, TLS for authentication, and HTTPS in particular if you're using WebRTC. Provision and update procedure, it means, of course, if you just have a few agents, that's not a problem, but when the call center is going to scale with hundreds and hundreds of agents, this is something you need to take into account, how to provision the software solution to different kind of volume. This is also important. And finally, the user experience. So it's both of them are a piece of software, but it's not just like that. The user experience of the agents is reflecting also to the customer experience. So the customer support they provide. And so that's important to have a nice user interface to do that. Okay, I think it's now my demo time. Madison, can I move forward to that? Is it okay with you?
Absolutely.
I hope that my network here will support me. So what I want to show you, it's both solutions. I've already shown you the basic features about, okay, I just received an incoming call, either on this WebRTC application and on this Windows application. Now I want to talk a little bit about the integration with maybe some external application. I will use for that, I will use an external ticketing solution. It can be any kind of external solution, an external CRM like Sugar CRM, vTiger, Salesforce, or some external ticketing solution. I will use Zendesk here. It's pretty much known all around the world. And what you can do if you use the first approach, like the SIP phone bar you see on top of the screen. Now I will place an incoming call, I will manage the call, and you will see what's going on inside the external ticketing solution. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, I think I need to answer here. Yeah, I need to answer here on the WebRTC because I'm logged here. So let's see first the WebRTC one. So I pick up the call here, and I can manage the call. I can transfer the call. And what I would like you to see now, okay, here on the Zendesk side, you see that we automatically opened a ticket. So what happened here? As you have seen, I needed to switch from the agent application here, this one, to the ticket. It's something that you can do, but it's not that easy. What you see here is that inside the ticketing system, we automatically filled a lot of information inside. You see information about who is calling me, the recorded call, if it is available. We are also able to fill some custom field inside the external ticketing system. And everything is done by using some API, okay? And let me now see what we can do on the SIP application here. Okay, I want to show you how it works. If this Windows machine is going to assist me. So normally the agent is going to launch the application. First of all, they will log in inside the application. And so now, after the login is completed, they will be able to manage the incoming, outgoing phone calls, and also some other channels like email, web chat, and other channel information. Okay. And you see underneath, there are other applications. I'm now using the Zendesk application. If I simulate the call, okay, you see that the call is incoming here in the phone bar. I can answer the call, and it takes just a while, but you will see that automatically we are going to open a ticket inside the Zendesk system, just like before. You see it's going to open now. And let me hang up because otherwise there will be a lot of echo. You see, again, inside the ticket, the external ticket, we are pushing some information about the call. They can be basic information, or they can also be advanced information. Like if you have an IVR, for example, like this, you can maybe during the IVR play a message to the customer like, welcome to Acme Limited, please insert your order number to verify the order status. So they are going to insert information. We can set a variable with that kind of information, and then we can pass the information to the agent here. And why not also inside the external application we are going to call, like the Zendesk ticketing solution here. And the behavior is very similar with other external application. So here you see with the SIP standard CTI approach, it's even easier to manage underneath some other application. With the WebRTC, you can do that as well, but it's a little bit tricky. Let's do it again here. Apart from the application that you see here, so the agent application, let's say that I'm logged here just inside the ticketing Zendesk system and I'm receiving a call. On top of the screen, you see we have developed such a Google Chrome extension where you can accept the call directly from here. And then it takes a little bit while and you see the ticket automatically creation. I can manage the customer, taking note during the ticket here. And if I want to switch back to the call, I need to switch from tab to tab. Okay. And finally, let's play a little bit about, I mentioned you about the different codecs. So what you can do with different voice codec, it's using a standard G711 codec or Opus codec. You can do that here. Let's see, okay, this is my agent configuration. I'm using now G711. And what's going on if I place a call from here, from WebRTC? Okay, and there you see here the call, and you see here the codec information. So we are using now G711, and here you can see the bandwidth that we are taking, and it's more than 100 kilobit per second. Of course, this is the gross codec overhead. It's from 90 to more than 100 kilobit per second for conversation. Let's now switch just to Opus to see what's going on. Okay, Opus, it's here, and save it. Let's reload here to be sure, and let's call again. Yeah. So let's have a look at the codec that I'm using. Yeah, you see here that I'm using Opus, the adaptive Opus codec. And let's see the bandwidth occupation. So what is interesting here is that it's totally adaptive. Okay, so it's going to decrease and increase depending of the bandwidth information it is going to. It takes a little bit less than G711 now, but it's totally adaptive. But I think that's more or less all. And I hope that you enjoyed the demo. Something I've been working. Anything you want to know more about?
I don't think so. I think that was really great. But I will offer this. If our audience has any questions, you guys can go ahead and leave comments in the comments section of our posted video, and we can get those over to Diego. And Diego, I'm sure you can answer those if we do get in any questions.
Sure.
So thank you so much, all the way from Italy, for that awesome demo. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, everyone. I will be meeting with you in Chicago at the ClueCon, I hope.
Yeah, you're going to be at ClueCon this year. We're so excited to see you. Okay, so yeah.
Looking forward. Take care.
Next week, we have Daniel Constantine Mierla. So meet us back right here at the same spot. And don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe. See you all at ClueCon.